The words didn't just leave her lips, they carved themselves into me like a blade. If you vanished, no one would notice. She said it casually, half smiling as if it were a joke. But her tone lingered. Too sharp. Too cruel. I laughed because what else could I do? That nervous laugh people give when the ground shifts beneath them. She didn't laugh with me. Instead, she just sipped her wine and glanced at her phone, as though dismissing my entire existence. My wife. The woman I had built a life with. The woman I thought I knew. That night, her words wouldn't let me sleep. They echoed through the silence of our bedroom, bouncing off the walls, crawling into every corner of my mind. If I vanished, no one would notice. I rolled over, watching her glow in the blue light of her phone. She wasn't looking at memes or scrolling mindlessly. She was typing, smiling in a way she hadn't at me in months. I closed my eyes and pretended to breathe deeply, to play the role of the sleeping husband. But inside something was unraveling. The next morning I told myself I was imagining things. People say cruel things in marriage, don't they? Stress, fatigue, arguments, words cut, but they don't always mean the death of love. I made her coffee like I always did, even put the little cinnamon heart on top like she liked. She didn't touch it. Just kissed my cheek absent-mindedly, the way you pat a dog on the head, and left for yoga. Except she didn't take her mat. I wasn't proud of it, but that was the morning I followed her. She drove across town, not to the studio, but to a small cafe tucked in a side street. I parked far enough away that she wouldn't notice. And there he was, tall, neatly dressed, a man whose smile seemed rehearsed. She melted into his arms like water seeking its level. They kissed, quick but practiced, like this wasn't their first morning together. My heart didn't just break, it calcified. I sat there gripping the steering wheel so tightly my knuckles ached. I couldn't breathe, couldn't blink. Couldn't believe that the woman who once cried into my chest during thunderstorms was now whispering into another man's ear. And then her words hit me again. If you vanished, no one would notice. I realized she had already made me vanish from her world. That night, I didn't confront her. Not yet. Instead, I played my part. Asked about her day. She lied easily. Said yoga was relaxing. She smelled like his cologne, but maybe she thought I wouldn't notice. Maybe she thought I never noticed anything. I smiled, nodded, tucked my anger away. But I started planning. If I vanished, no one would notice. Challenge accepted. The first step was quiet. Subtle. I began withdrawing. Not angrily, not obviously, but slowly enough she wouldn't see the edges of her world shifting. I stopped asking about her day. Stopped making her coffee. Stopped leaving little notes on the fridge. I watched as she barely blinked at the absence. At night, while she slept with her phone clutched like a lifeline, I gathered evidence. Screenshots of messages, photos of their meetings, records of her credit card charges at hotels she never mentioned. My lawyer told me to keep building a case, and I did meticulously, like a man laying bricks around a coffin. Weeks passed. I became a ghost in my own home. She didn't ask where I went, didn't notice when I stayed late at work or spent nights at a cheap motel just to test her indifference. She was always too busy with her glowing screen, her secret world. Until one evening, she finally looked up at me. You've been different lately. I met her gaze calmly, hiding the storm. Maybe I'm just tired of being invisible. She rolled her eyes, as if I were being dramatic. Oh, come on, don't start. But I saw it then, just for a flicker. Flash of panic. She could feel me slipping, even if she didn't understand how far gone I already was. The day of our anniversary was the breaking point. She forgot. No dinner plans, no card, nothing. She came home late, her hair slightly messy, lips smudged, the faintest trace of guilt failing to mask itself. I left the dining table set anyway. Candles, plates, wine. She looked at it like it was a pathetic display. You went through all this, she scoffed. I told you I had a late meeting. I just nodded. My hands shook under the table, but my voice was steady. Don't worry. I won't make that mistake again. The next morning I vanished. Not in some dramatic way. No yelling, no slamming doors. Just gone. I cleared out my side of the closet, took my documents, my savings, my plans. I left her everything else. The house, the cars, the furniture. Let her fill the silence with her lover. Let her taste the emptiness she once wished on me. On the kitchen counter I left a single envelope. Inside, divorce papers. And one note. You once said if I vanished, no one would notice. Funny thing is, you were right. You didn't notice. But soon, everyone else will. Because I hadn't just built a case. I had shared it. With her family, with her friends, with her work. Every screenshot, every hotel receipt, every lie. I didn't do it for revenge, not entirely. I did it because I refused to disappear quietly. She called me that night. 20 missed calls. Texts ranging from anger to begging to threats. Please, let's talk. You don't understand, it didn't mean anything. I made a mistake. You're ruining everything. I read them all in silence, then turned my phone off. It's been 6 months since then. People did notice I was gone. Friends reached out, colleagues checked in, even neighbors asked what happened. Turns out, when you spend years investing in others, you don't vanish easily. But she vanished. The man she threw it all away for disappeared when things got messy. Her job cut her loose after the scandal. Her friends drifted, her family stopped defending her. And sometimes late at night, I wonder if she hears her own words echoing back at her. If you vanished, no one would notice. Only now, it's her reflection staring into the void. For me, life is quieter. Lonelier, yes, but also honest. There are nights I ache for what we once had, for the laughter and warmth before the lies. But then I remember the moment she chose to erase me long before I walked away. Vanishing wasn't about disappearing. It was about reclaiming my presence, my worth. And in the silence that followed, I finally noticed myself.